Alrighty, so we're in Hatboro, if you will. Boy, that's backwards. I didn't realize that. Everything's in reverse. Got a little friend here behind me. I'm gonna check out some thrift stores. As you can see behind me, written backwards, there's Sam the Sham. So we're gonna see if there's any good records here. And then we're gonna get to the city of brotherly love. I know, I got filming the Frank Sinatra behind me. That's pretty cool. There's all these awesome records across the roof here. I wouldn't say they're awesome, but it's definitely a really cool thrift store. I like it. And guitars and all kinds of cool stuff here. Sam has one just like that. Oh, taxi. Well, let's go. Thank you. So here we are. We're in Philadelphia. Went on a little bit of a road trip. So I'm at the Philadelphia Record Exchange. Alrighty, well here I am at the Philadelphia Record Exchange. This is a pretty cool place. You can see behind me all the good stuff. Got some tons and tons of vinyl down here. It's fantastic. So we're going to spend a little bit of time and see if we can't find something pretty awesome. So take care.
Oh, hi. Didn't see you there. It's a Pat's. We have some cheesesteak after record shopping. Good stuff. I just got back from a little bit of a road trip. I went to Philadelphia to do some record shopping. And if you're in the Philadelphia area, well, guess what? There's not any good records there because I bought them all. So hit up a couple different stores, a lot of good stuff. The first one I went to was the Philadelphia Record Exchange, which is on sort of like on South and 5th. I guess it's been there for a little while. Definitely had some good stuff. Went down to the basement and definitely got some good rock records. We're going to do this pretty rapid fire. First record store was like 19 records, so I'm going to try to keep this under 10 minutes so that it's 30 seconds. Definitely comment. We'll go back, and then during the week I'll maybe spotlight a few of these records. We'll kind of go in depth a little bit more about them. So again, the first place I went to was the Record Exchange. Now, what I did there, this is a little trick that I always do, and I know a lot of people in the vinyl community, it seems like a lot of people buy their records online, or you order them from like online retailers. If you're going to buy used records, a big secret that I kind of do is you always pay in cash. I think a lot of the record stores around me, if you pay in cash, it's sort of, I think that transaction goes off the books. So usually you get a pretty good deal, and you get a pretty good discount. So I tried to do that. I walked up and I was like, I have like $140 worth of records, and we'll see if we can cut a break or anything like that. But they rang it up just one record at a time, and it was just kind of heartbreaking because I didn't get as good of a deal as I thought. Still walked away. I think each record was ended up being about $7 a piece. You'll see I got some stuff that was definitely worth more than $7. Some things right under that, in that range. So let's get into the vinyl, shall we? So here's the first one. Got Hurdy Gurdy Man. It's original yellow or gold epic label, however you want to say it. I think we'll say yellow. I've been looking for this one for a little while. Got pretty much everything but that one, so that was definitely exciting to find. Here's one, Happy Jack by The Who. I think I may already have this one. I'm not too sure. If I do, we can talk about maybe doing some trades, whatnot. Of course, this one has a quick one while he's away, which is the kind of the tour de force that Pete Townsend wrote. They need a little bit more space for the album, so they say, and that was sort of their, there's little 1.5 minute songs, like 5 1.5 minute songs all together into one big song. So, cool record. Definitely one of my favorites, I think, by The Who. There's some it's kind of the transitional period from their mod to their, kind of the Who as we know them, I guess, really. Here's one by Lighthouse. It's called One Fine Morning from 1971. Not really. The cover seems to be a little bit more psychedelic than what the record is. There's sort of like a horn bass, sort of. We talk about that sort of that blood, sweat, and tears movement quite a bit, kind of in that genre. So here's one that I was really excited to find. This is basically a demonstration record, which is, say for instance. Way back when, you would have your dealer that you would get all your different, all the different records through. And this one, of course, these are all on the Phillips label. These 3 artists: Blue Cheer, H.P. Lovecraft, which we talked about the other day, and the Hello People, which followed around Tom Rudengren a little bit there. But what this is sort of like highlights from all 3 of these artists. You would play this in your store, and people would say, "Hey, what are you listening to?" And you say, "Well, that's the Hello People. They dressed up like clowns." So I don't know. Excited about this one. I imagine that this is probably worth a few smackers. That was only $6, so that was a good find. Here's another one. Excited for this. The missus was doubly excited. Dave, D, Dozy, Beaky, Mick, and Tich. Greatest hits. If you're not really familiar with this band, oh man, you're missing out. So these records are so hard to find. They were huge in the UK, not necessarily in the US. Bend It, of course, Hold Tight. Just great songs. Hideaway. I was so pumped to find this one. So because you never see their records. Here's a band. I believe they're from Minnesota. I want to say Minneapolis, Minnesota. The album's called Mosaic by the band's called Crow. They had their other album, which has Evil Woman on it, which is sort of their. Actually, Black Sabbath covered it not on their first album, but it was on the first single that they put out. Good band, but that record was $1 and it was just beat. It wasn't even worth $1 as far as I'm concerned. So I did not get it. Dino, Desi, and Billy. Yeah, a little guilty pleasure here. Definitely these guys are, they're all, I believe it was Frank Sinatra's son, I think Dean Martin's son, and Desi Arnaz. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I forget it's maybe Frank Sinatra. I don't know. Look it up. But these guys are kind of a I don't know. They're just a kid band. Their parents were rich. They owned. I think it's Frank. If it's Frank Sinatra's son or it's Dean Martin's son, of course they're on the Reprise label, or Reprise, however you pronounce it. And it's they kind of played hits of the day. Fun little psychedelic numbers. So this is a little guilty pleasure right there. That was $5. Here is To Delaney from Bonnie, or To Bonnie from Delaney, other way around. Yeah, Sam's back there helping me out. Nice little gatefold there. This is a pretty good album from it's kind of one of their from 1970, so has some good stuff. Right around that time when Eric Clapton was sort of doing this stuff with Derek and the Dominoes and all that. So cool stuff. We have the Silky. This is another one on the Fontana label. Not really too sure what to expect from this. It sounds like it's going to be sort of like folk, probably like We 5, something like that. Has a ton of Bob Dylan covers on it. Has The Times They Are Changing, Mr. Tambourine Man, even a song called Dylan's Dream, which is I think Bob Dylan's Dream number or whatever it is. Girl from the North Country, Blowing in the Wind, Love Minus Zero, It Ain't Me, Babe. So I wasn't going to get this one, but then I was like, you know what? I can't but not get it. Here was a blind buy band called Peace and Quiet. Looks like it's probably going to be, it's a 5-piece and a dog from what I can see. So I don't know. There's only 6 songs on it, so I was imagining some heavy stuff. Unfortunately, there wasn't a turntable to listen to anything, so I just sort of had to take a chance on this. But $4, well worth it. And big shout out to Big Star 1000, who kind of hit me on this album in one of his videos. It's Bonnie Kolak. They had a ton of her records, maybe 4 or 5 records. This was only $2, and I was gonna get some other ones, but you gotta understand, I had a fistful of records, so it's kind of I really didn't know where to go with it. So just went with this one since we did talk about that on that one, or Mr. Big Star talked about it. Here's a record this is hilarious because I've never seen this record before. I've heard about them, and then I went into one record store, then went into the Philadelphia Record Exchange, bought it there, and I went into another record store, which we'll talk about in part 2, and they had the same exact album, but they were selling it for $50. So here it is. It's The Fool. You may know these guys they sort of decorated. They decorated the building, the Apple building. It was on Baker Street, so they were sort of the licensed by the Beatles to do a lot of artwork and things like that. I want to say that they did the cover of 5,000 Spirits or Layers of the Onion by the Incredible String Band. I want to say they were the same ones that did the cover for it. I may be wrong. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Fantastic stuff. Really excited to find this one. So I'm the first person I know that has ever had this album, so I have never really, I've read about it before, but I've never really seen it in person. So here's a fun one: Snoopy and Friends and the Royal Guardsmen. This is actually kind of the Christmas album. It had this really cool like Christmas poster thing, which I figured probably a lot of people that had this album probably would not have this anymore. So it would probably come off of the cover or something like that. So. Of course, that the Royal Guardsmen, they did, Snoopy versus the Red Baron, like 5 different versions of it. So this one was kind of a fun one, and I couldn't really pass it up. Nuggets Volume 2. This one's punk. Pretty much all this stuff I think I have, but at the same time, I always like to pick these up when I find a nice compilation stuff. Nuggets. It's right up my alley. Here's a cool one. It's called Mark Radice, I believe, or Radice. I don't know how to pronounce it quite yet. I guess he kind of went on to do some stuff with Jim Henson and the Muppets, from what I was reading the other day. But it sort of is officially, here come the 70s. And Donovan's kind of signs off on it. So it seemed like a really cool album. Again, kind of a blind buy. I figured it might be kind of sunshiny pop, sort of singer-songwriter kind of thing. So, couldn't really pass it up. Here's the Duprees. I think this is sort of a greatest hits from the Duprees. They were on the Colossus label. Again, cool stuff. Here's the Jaggers with We Went to Different Schools Together. The Jaggers, of course, did The Rapper. And if you're from around these parts, Mr. Dominic Iris, he's a local legend. There's the Amazing Adventures of the Liverpool Scene. It's kind of I don't really know if I don't think this band was sort of a psychedelic band, but definitely a thing to note. It's produced by John Peel. So I saw this the other day. I don't remember what I was reading. Might have been in Shindig. Saw a little mention about these guys, so I couldn't pass that up. And then the last one that I got here, it is When the Whistle Blows, Anything Goes with the Soul Survivors. Their big one, of course, was Expressway to Your Heart. This one is on the Crimson label, from what I believe, which is fantastic. So nice little Crimson label there. So that's it for part 1. So that was all the stuff that I got at the Philadelphia Record Exchange. Part 2 coming right up. So make sure you watch that next. So we're gonna highlight 2 record stores. A lot of good stuff in that one as well. So we'll see you in like 2 seconds.